Welcome to the Fearless Conversation. I'm MeKael Black, and this is my lovely friend,
Natalia Posey.
and she has been so gracious to join me this morning. My husband will be back maybe in a week or two, but today I want to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, and that is reading. Now, guys, if you don't know already, I am the author of these children's books, the Fearless Princess book series and the What Will A-Tab Play Today book series. And before publishing these books, I didn't know anything about childhood literacy or children's books, so I did some research. And what I found was that a lot of children don't like to read for leisure outside of school.
Right.
And I also found some alarming statistics, and I want to read them to you. 3 that stood out to me. Students who are behind when they start kindergarten make up the largest portion of school dropouts. 2/3 of students who struggle with reading by the end of 4th grade would end up in jail or welfare. That's terrible.
That is terrible.
And the Department of Justice states the link between academic failure and delinquency, violence, and crime is welded in reading failure. Over 70% of inmates in America's prisons cannot read above 4th grade reading level. That literally brought tears to my eyes, reading those statistics. And so it just made me say, look, I have to publish these books, because one thing about these books, they are inspiring, they're encouraging. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, if I could just get one kid or a few kids to be encouraged to read, because, hey, I see a character that looks like me. This character sounds like me. This character is going through a similar circumstance, and I do. They have friends like me. They like to rap like me. They like to dance like me.
Right.
They can see themselves in that story. Yeah. Then it will make it more relatable to them and inspire them to want to read more. Mm-hmm. And so my question to you is, first of all, I want you to tell the audience a little bit about you and your family dynamic. See, I know. The reason why I got her for a reason, because I know the success she's had with her children when it comes to academics and reading. So I want you to share a little bit with the audience.
Okay, well, first, thank you for having me. You are my very first live to do. I'm not on Facebook, so this is a stretch, but I love you. Mm-hmm. And I'm honored to do it because I'm proud of you. Like, I'm so proud of what you've done. I'm proud of the books and just your heart for kids. Like, you're making an impact that you won't see. Like, only heaven and eternity will be able to tell.
Wow,
the impact.
Thank you.
So I'm proud of you. But my husband and I have been married for 24 years. We have 5 children, 4 boys and a girl. And reading is it's kind of the culture of our family. Mm-hmm. Like, it's been important from day one. I grew up loving to read. I love to escape, into a book. A lot of kids love TV and stuff, but for me, it was just, I don't know, I just love that.
Yeah.
And my desire as a mom was to pass that on to our children. Right. I wanted them to have that. And then when our oldest started school, we were blessed with awesome teachers who fostered that and showed me ways to do that. So we've seen it. We've seen, I think, from beginning with our first, just seeing all of the aspects, the social aspects, the academic aspects, like everything tie in. It was just fuel for us to make that, again, the culture and the standard for all of our kids.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. Once learning about this childhood literacy, I thought, wow, if we can get children excited about reading early, then it will help foster that love for reading.
That's it.
And so I started to, when I go to schools or go to speak to kids, I try to encourage them to read early. Yeah. And a lot of times I've heard children say, well, I want to read, but I struggle with reading. I can't read, or I can't read. Or I don't have anyone to help me to read. And then I thought, well, gosh, some of these kids may have family members or parents at home or guardians at home who struggle with reading themselves.
Right.
So what do you think what do you do in that situation when a kid is at home and then the parent or the guardian is struggling with reading as well.
I think you do what you would do for anything else. If your child is interested in singing and you can't sing and you have no musical ability, then you go get someone. You find a resource to help them. If they want to play basketball and have no idea how to do it, then you find a coach or a trainer or something.
Right.
I think it's true with reading. I think, of course, the parent, reading is a skill we can all acquire. It's something we can all do, so they can do it. But if they feel like they don't have time, they're honest and they don't have the desire, then get somebody to do it. There are plenty of people. Get a MeKael Black or get a tutor or somebody to come in the same way you would do anything else. Make reading that priority.
That's true. That's true. We have to make reading and education just as important as our hobbies or sports. Right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. More important. Yes. And you know what? I just started to think about when I a new parent and I didn't know the power in reading. Yeah. Like there's power in reading because there's so much knowledge that you can gain from reading. Yeah. Frederick Douglass said, once you learn to read, you'll forever be free. And I thought that was so powerful because reading could take you places that you may never go.
Right.
And you can learn things that you may never would have learned in otherwise.
Right.
And so I was like, there's so much power in reading.
Yeah.
What are some of the benefits that you've seen from your own children? Because I remember you telling me one time, my boys had 300 some AR points in kindergarten, first grade. I'm like, 300 points? I thought 50 was good, but 300?
Their goal was to reach 1,000 points. I remember in second grade to reach 1,000 by the end of the year.
Whoa.
That's what they did back then. Because they set goals for themselves, but it was based off of us. But we've seen so many benefits, MeKael, just all around, like holistically, like socially, like they can socialize with anybody. They're not socially awkward. They have confidence to be able to talk to anybody. Like it does so much. Emotionally, they don't get bored because they know, like it helps develop their imagination.
Yeah.
So they're not scrambling if we, have blackout days and days where they can't use electronics, then they're not sitting there stuck. They don't know what to do.
Right.
They know how to use their imagination. They know how to do stuff. Academically, it's paid off in dividends. They're on, our oldest two boys are in college and they're both on scholarship, on full scholarships.
Wow.
And it's based off of test scores, but it can be traced back to reading and the GPA. Everything points back to that because it sets the foundation.
Yeah.
Because reading it's limitless. You choose other activities. Sometimes you age out and you can't do that anymore, or this may happen. Reading has no limits.
Right.
Like you can always use it.
I love that. So you're saying that, now I heard you say one of your sports. So you got athletes in your family. So we have athletes and you have education, and I know you have some musical inclined kids too. Yeah. So you have kids who are active in other things, they're not just readers. They're in the band, they're playing sports. How do you, and I love that too, because you want to have children not just doing anything.
Right.
You want them to be active outside of the home. You want them to be, because it helps your body. It's healthy for your body, healthy for your mind.
Right.
So what do you say about, I know it's a lot of pressure on athletes. You hear a lot of times it's a stereotype, especially if you're good. Absolutely. Especially if you like the star player.
Right.
You're not expected to be smart.
Right.
You're not expected to have this.
Sad but true.
Yeah. So what do you say about this stereotype of the dumb jock, and how can we get rid of that? Because I don't like that. I don't like the dumb jock.
I can't stand it because it's just that it's a stereotype, and people keep perpetuating it over and over and over again, and you break the cycle. You show people that you're not. Athletics it's played a big role in my family. My husband played in the NFL for 10 years. So I'm glad for all the abilities and everything, all the situations, everything that afforded us.
Yeah.
But that still has a place.
Right.
My husband and I were talking this morning that's not who he is. That's just the part. And that's one thing we taught our kids. All of our kids are athletic. They got my skills. They got their dad skills. But they're all athletic and they can all, but they can also do so many other things. Like God didn't make them one dimensional. And that's one thing we kept telling them. And I have one son who decided to continue to play. He plays football in college now. And he's also a national merit finalist. He scored, high 30s on the ACT. Like for him, and he was in the arts, he's in the band. We want ours to be as diverse as God made them. Explore all of it. Because you're not just one thing. His thing was, this is not me. This is just one part of me. He had so many teammates try to put that on him. You don't do this in school and we're not worried about that and that's not cool. But we told them early on that they set the tone and the tempo. You define what's cool. Nobody can define what's cool for you.
That's good.
When his friends were telling him reading wasn't cool, who is somebody else to tell you what's cool for you? And I'll never forget, he started reading, and this would probably embarrass him, but it was a Dear Dumb Diary book. This little book in second grade. And the other, guys were joking. But he went back, and the next 9 weeks they were all reading them too. Wow! He set the tone and the tempo. And he's still doing that, even in college on his team now. He's still doing that because again, that's part of it. We firmly believe whatever you put in their hands, that's what they're going to use. A lot of times with boys, what's one of the first things you buy them and put in their hands is a ball.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's just what we do. So that's what they use.
Yeah.
Put a book in their hand. They can have a ball. They can also have a book. If you put the book in their hand and put the same amount of emphasis on the book as you do the ball, then they'll use that too.
That's good.
That's what we've tried to do.
Good. So you're telling me that it's never too early to read?
Again, what's the first birthday present? If you wait till their first birthday, usually 6 months old, you're giving them a basketball or a football or something, which is nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But again, at the same time, give them a book.
Give them a book.
Yeah, make that the tone. You set the tone and the tempo for them because they're going to follow whatever you put in their hands. They're going to use figuratively, whatever you put in their hands, and physically, literally, whatever you put in their hands, that's what they're going to use.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now, I got a question for you.
What's up?
What do you say to the parent or the guardians who have that kid? They started reading to them early.
Yeah. They
encourage reading. They put books in the home. But for some reason, that child still is not, they're just not taken to reading. They don't want to read. Like, how can you inspire that kid? What would you say to that child? What would you say to that parent? Because for me, I know I would probably feel like, man, I've done everything. Right. What else can I do to get this kid to read? Yeah. And and that's one of my goals as an author, to try to put out diverse books or books that kids who, like, if they like to rap, they may normally not read, but if they know that it's a rap in the book, well, I'll just rap the rap. I just say it, but that's a way to get them to read. Right. But what about those parents that I just want them to read something else? I want them to read novels. I want them to read chapter books. Yeah. Why they just won't read? They just want to read comic books.
Yeah. Let them read what they want to read. From the beginning, what I would do, you don't give up. You keep on. If you had a child and you've been trying, you don't stop.
You don't give up.
You don't give up. It's just like a little one when you're feeding them certain foods and they don't like it at first. You're not going to just let them eat chicken nuggets all their life and just go. You keep introducing them and keep trying and trying until they pick it up. And it's the same way with reading, in my opinion.
Look, let me tell you something. That's so simple.
Yeah.
But that's true.
It is.
You don't give up. So if you have a child and they are just resisting reading, don't give up. Because I remember trying to feed Aisha that broccoli. And she did not want it.
Right.
But the more I tried, she eventually gave in. Yeah. So that, oh my God, it's so simple.
Don't give up. And as far as letting them read certain things, like, no, I don't like reading some things. And it's fine. Words are words. You know, I mean, of course you want it to be something that's going to stimulate them at some point. But whatever, get them hooked to reading. Yeah. I love that you're doing the raps and things like that. I love, you meet them where they are. Yeah. Like you doing anything else. If that's what they want, then give them that and let them build that foundation with whatever they enjoy reading at that moment.
Wow. That's so good. That's so, parents, guardians, don't get discouraged. Don't give up. Keep introducing different types of books.
Right.
They may not like comic books. They may like fiction books
right.
or non-fiction books.
Yeah.
Just magazines.
Whatever it is.
Magazine. Because I know, like, for Dorian, you won't catch him just reading a novel, but he likes to read, like, Christian magazines and audio books. He likes audio books. Yeah. So different people, different strokes, they like different things. So, wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I have a question for you. When you have a parent and you feel discouraged because, okay, my kid is not, they're not reading, and now it's affecting them in school.
Yeah.
And I read, this scripture kept coming back up to me. It says, fathers, do not provoke your child to wrath.
Right.
And I thought about how a lot of times when you have this certain expectation for your child.
Right.
And what they should be doing, what they should be reading, what kind of grades they should be making, how they should be performing in school. And you get, if you don't have your emotions in check, you can get out of line and like, why aren't you doing this? Right. Why aren't you doing? Why are you doing? And you fussing and you're letting your frustrations and your anger and how you think they should be performing come out in a way that can be discouraging.
Right.
Can provoke them to want to just give up.
Stop. Right.
So what do you say to the parent where I don't know what else to do and I'm frustrated and that frustration's coming out? It comes out in a way where it can be more damaging than helpful to the child.
Yeah. I believe, Kel, that God He created us as individuals. You know, my children are my children. They're our kids, but they're also individuals.
Yeah.
So my job isn't to develop this plan and stuff for them and then force that on them and stuff like that. My job and my husband's job, we feel like it's just to sit back and to see who they are, to trust God and ask Him and seek Him to help Him, ask Him to help show us who they are, and then to follow that. And He does. It seems so simple and it can seem so spiritual and stuff, but to me, I'm not wise enough on my own to figure out how to do the stuff.
Yeah.
So I pray, okay, I've had some of my kids have been that way in certain things, and it's okay, Lord, you show me what to do. Yeah. Show me how to encourage this child. Show me this is your child. You know all the inner workings. You know exactly how you created them and stuff. Show me how to reach them. Yeah. And without fail, He does it. Yeah. Without fail, He's just like, you know what? Talk to him this way, or do this and do that. The underlying current and all that is praising them for stuff. Yeah. If you encourage, we all love encouragement. Yeah. I love encouragement. Yeah. Like I love you to tell me when I do well with stuff, or give me feedback. Encourage them. Yeah. Go find out the things that they are doing right, the things that they are doing the way you
want like
to.
That.
Yeah, and then shower them with praise on those things. Yeah. That'll open up the door so much to being able to say, you know what? You're doing this, then they're open to hearing, the other things. Yeah. And then once I meditate and start thinking about the good things, then that whole attitude and that, starts to leave, because I'm like, you know what, you're all right. Yeah. You're going to get it.
Yeah. And you know what, I've had to repent sometimes. Oh, yeah. I've been there. I'm sure. Why are you getting it? Right. Like, okay, look. Yeah. Calm down.
Right. Like,
it's going to be okay.
You like that. He's not on us saying, wow, He has patience with us. So, girl. So it's just like,
Thank you, Father.
Yes. So we have that same kind of patience and expectation with them.
And while you were talking, I thought about, when you said the encouraging words, I thought about what came to my mind. This may sound crazy, but love language. What is your child's love language?
And now you're getting off into something else.
Because when you said that, it made me think about that, because the other day I asked the kids, I said, because sometimes it's just me, y'all. I get in my head sometimes, be like, am I doing this right? Am I being a good mommy? Right. And I ask the kids all the time, just question. They probably like, what is this lady doing? But I asked them, I said, when do you feel loved the most from mommy and daddy, from me? And, I don't get teared up, but hearing their answers, I was like, okay. I immediately, without asking them, like, when I got Aisha's response, I was like, that's a love language. Yes. And then when I got Asa's response, I was like, that's a love language. Yes. So what I did was I got out the love languages, right? And I said, I want you to rank these, you know, in order, one being the most. And just seeing how they both differ, first of all.
Yes.
How Aisha need this.
Right.
This makes her the happiest when it comes from us.
Yeah.
And Asa's was totally different. And I was like, okay, this is for the prudes. They're two different people, need two different things from their parents. Yeah. But it helps me now know, you know, like, okay, I see what you really need. Yeah. And then what can encourage him and inspire him to maybe perform a little extra over here and what she needs. Yeah. And so I would look when I went through that with my kids. I'm telling you, I held back. I didn't want them to see me cry. Yeah, I love I held back the tears because I was like, this is so heartwarming. Yeah. So, have you ever done that with your children?
We've absolutely done that, and we do it periodically. We check back in, or what have your love languages changed? But we've had all of ours tell us their love languages, and we've tried to serve that because we don't know everything. And I feel that to say that for parents, it's okay not to know everything. You're not gonna know everything. Yeah. But everything your kids need, God has already put on the inside of you, and you trust that. You know, like whatever. If they need a mama that's this, you're that. Wow. The Lord may have to show you how to bring it out. You know, if you didn't necessarily, you know, if you weren't raised that way, or if you didn't necessarily, it's still in you. Yeah. He'll just show you how to do it. He specifically put everything in us. He's just so awesome and perfect what he does for each one of our kids. Yeah. And like you said, they're all different. But yeah, we've done that. And ours, between the five of them, all five, I think, have a different first, like primary love language. So we meeting them like this, but we're doing it because that does that. When we meet that, like I said earlier, it helps pull out that, like that little extra, you know, whatever it is. They end up melting, even if sometimes they're disobedient, this and that. If we turn around and love them in that way, then we reap the dividends, you know, the benefits, because they're coming back and they just melt and do what they're supposed to do. Yeah.
So look, guys, if you haven't tried that, I just recently tried it. Yeah. So if you feel like you late to the party, well, shoot, join me, because I just did the other day.
Better late than never.
Right. Yeah. So try that with your child. She's done it. Try it with them, because it may help open the door with you. If you're having struggles with reading, it may help you understand how I can reach my child in this area with reading. So try that. Explore the love languages. The 5 love languages is by Gary Chapman. Yeah. Try that. Look it up. And I think he had one for kids too, because
I don't know. We've only done the original one. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. Look it up. Yeah. Because when I tell you, and let me tell you something, one of my kids got a little choked up talking about it. Oh, I ain't gonna put them out there, but one of them got a little choked up talking about it. Yeah. So try that with your child. It just may open the door to help you with reading and just your relationship
in general.
Yeah, in general.
Yeah, because there are people too. We look at kids sometimes, like, you know, they're just kids. They're little people. Yeah. You know, they're human too. They feel the same stuff we feel. Yeah. They need the same stuff we need. Yeah. 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 Oh, you're gonna make me teary eyed. Oh.
This is just wonderful. You know, I just really want to know, if you were to leave anything with the viewers, what kind of encouragement you want to leave them about if they are struggling with reading, but have a child struggling with reading, or want to inspire them as their child going, because school can be, you have your ups and downs, you know, you have the expectations, you know how you were in school, and you expect your child to be that same way or better. You always want, like for me, I want my children to be better than me. Right. I don't want them to have to go through what I went through. Yeah. So what can you say to the viewers to inspire them or encourage them if they're having a child who struggles with reading?
I think first, give yourself grace. You have to give yourself grace as a parent, and then show your child grace, you know, and patience. I know sometimes it's hard to hear that word, and it's, you know, you want to see things, you want whatever you pour into them to come out quickly, and that doesn't always happen. do that. And then as far as reading specifically, like I said earlier, just don't give up.
Yeah.
Just keep encouraging them. Set the tone. Make that the culture of your family. Put your values on that. We can say we value one thing, but if I say I value reading, but I'm never reading, not having you, but I'm spending all my time, at the ball field or wherever else, then I'm teaching them that. I'm teaching them by what I do.
Yeah.
So back it up. Teach them by your actions. You know what you do. Make them do that. And then be disciplined and teach them discipline. Yeah. Again, the way you teach them discipline and so many other things, bring those same things in and show them that when it comes to reading and to education. Show them the true value of it.
Yeah. And I some of the things that I did with my kids were I would read with them.
Yes.
I would turn off the TV and everybody take out a book and we read together.
Yeah.
And one thing that Aisha loves, and this is something that you can do with your children, your grandchildren, your nieces and nephews. I got nieces and nephews. They come over here. I read to them. You could do this with any little one in your life. Mm-hmm. She likes for me to read the story in character.
Oh, girl.
So I change my voice. Yes. I get all silly and goofy. Yeah. And it just, oh my goodness, she just gets all,
right.
She gets all giddy.
Yeah.
So you can make it fun. You can go outside and read. Mm-hmm. You don't have to read such long, thick books.
Right.
Start where they are.
Right. That's it.
And then progress.
And build up on it. Yeah.
So those are some tips that I enjoy doing with my children.
We did that when my oldest were younger. Now my youngest is 11. Our oldest is about to be 21. So it's a little bit different. They read on their own now. But that's what we did. Anytime we were riding somewhere, we had books. And when we would get in, they'd get strapped in. The first thing would be, open the book. Open it up. Where are we now? And I would do the voices and stuff. And we'd find character traits. Okay, you're like this one. You're like this one. And they'd say, this is
I like that.
Talking about this, talking about that's like you. Like they would get into, even my husband.
Yeah.
He would be driving, girl, and be like, wait, read that part again. Like, go back. And I read it in their voice. And then we get home and we come all the way around our neighborhood and find trees or find something, read with flashlights, just whatever. But we got into the book. So I love that you did that. I think it makes a huge difference.
And I like that you talked about the character traits and how each one of your children can relate to the characters. So that's a very good tip too. And before we end, I want to talk about a little bit more with sports and activities. We have, and that's another thing that I like to encourage, play.
Right.
Reading and play, because those two are so important to children's development.
Yeah.
How do you handle or balance the play and the screens and reading and TV, and how do you balance that all? I know some people are really strict on no screens during the week or just screens during the weekend. We practice screen time limits. That means that you can watch some screens during the day, but there's limits on it.
Yeah.
But you gotta go outside. Yeah. We're going outside. We're playing. We're doing something.
Right.
I know your children are active in sports and music. How important is play for you and your family?
It's extremely important. It's the way we release and the way we get out, and like you say, even physically, just the way we're active and stuff. Like we're very active. My kids love to get outside. I feel like what people love when you instill a love for something or help instill a love, you don't have to do as much. Now we do. We've always had like limits on screen time and things like that, because you have to. If not, if I don't have a limit on something myself, if I enjoy it, I may indulge in it. So we need, we need parameters and everything. But at the same time, we would go outside and play with them. Like all 7 of us will just be, even now, like we'll be outside playing stuff. So again, it's just the culture of our family. It's just what we do. So they love it. So I don't have to tell them go outside a lot, because they love to do it anyway. I don't have to tell them anymore to read, because they love to do it anyway.
Oh, so now it's just a habit.
Natural, because it's natural. It's what they enjoy doing. Right. So when you help foster a love for whatever in them, you're not going to have to beg them, to do it. They'll do it naturally most of the time. Now, it may take it's not natural all the time to foster that. You have to foster. But once you get it in there, it's just what they just enjoy. But yes, ours all 5 have done band. And that's a monster as far as physical activity and stuff. But I love it because it keeps them active. It keeps their minds going. And I just truly believe I I believe even with test scores and all that, like the things my kids have been able to accomplish, it's because of all that. Like it all plays, into that. Their attention span, being able to sit there through those long tests and to do all that, it's because of reading and all of that.
I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. Look, guys, this is the last thing I have to say, but Latalia, I need you to get a friend like her, okay? Because everybody needs someone. And for her, her children are older than my children, most of them, but 3 of them. 3 of her children are older than my children. And she's been there. She's done that. So I could call her. Oh, help me. I don't know what to do. Help me. And I could call her and she'd be like, oh girl, that's nothing. It's gonna be okay. That's nothing compared, And so just having that person to call and lean on, get advice, be a mentor, counsel you, comfort you. You need someone in your life along this way, especially if you're the mom, you're the grandparent, but especially if you're the mom or the dad, you need a person you can lean on to help you along this walk. We have God, of course. He's our counselor, our everything. In the flesh. Yeah. You can just call on, like, look, I'm going through this with my kid. Do you have any advice? Have you been through this? Because I've done that a lot.
we call on each other.
Yeah, but and I thank you for being patient and encouraging.
You are a phenomenal mom, and Dorian is a phenomenal dad, and y'all have phenomenal kids.
Well, I appreciate that.
What you pour into them, what you do. If y'all kids don't do anything else, they're gonna play outside.
Yeah, they're gonna play outside,
and they're gonna read. And I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thank you for coming, and I thank you guys for watching, because this is so important. If you don't take anything else away from this live, then I want you to foster that love for reading early, and don't give up. When they give me the tablet, give me the phone.
Right.
Here's the book.
Yep, that's it.
Don't give up. And so, guys, thank you for watching. And again, I'm the author of the What Would A-Tal Play Today series and the Fearless Princess book series.
You got so many books. I have to hold one for you.
Yes. And you notice I said Fearless Princess series.
Series. I heard you.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. But thanks again, guys, for watching. And tune in next time for the Fearless Conversation. Peace.